Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. Trust you all had a good lunch. So now we're going to crack on with the afternoon session. There's a slight change to the order of things, basically because we're still waiting for a couple of people who have been delayed.
James, Francesca came, please.
Oh,
Francesca.
Oh, Francesca.
So maybe she can start
If she's able to start, that's great.
Are you ready maybe to talk now? Okay, we were waiting for you. Yeah. Okay, you can go there.
Okay, so I'll pass over to Francesca De Paolo, who is the BAU director from Rome. So, Francesca.
Is there just if you can? Yes. Just I want to extend my greetings from the Başakşehir University and show you a little video about Başakşehir and our mission throughout the world. This is Başakşehir University, and in Rome, we just opened the Center, International Academy of Rome, in September. We started operations in September, providing courses in the fields of excellence of the Made in Italy, so architecture and design, entrepreneurship, fashion and luxury, of course, the enogastronomic sector cannot miss this scenario. And we also provide legal courses at the International Academy of Rome because, as you know, the Roman law is the mother, actually, of the European law. So many interesting courses in international negotiations, for instance, intellectual property law, competition law, and also you find direct and cross-examination as well. Starting this year, I provide a folder to all the participants, and inside you find all our programs with info sheets about the programs, the contents, and the topics under the names of the two Romes, because our mission is actually to provide this bridge between East and West. I want today to extend my personal greetings and thanks also from the president of Başakşehir University, Mr. Enver Yücel, to ketenci&ketenci, the president, European lawyers, the vice president, Paolo Zagami, all the people who convened here today from several parts of the world, as far as I understand, although this year the Turkish component is very strong. And also the panelists who have actually brought on the table several important topics for our considerations and discussion. What comes out today, as far as I've followed the speeches and of the panelists before me is that education and information are very important to understand how to face the main challenges of the 21st century. And in this process, lawyers, of course, and governments play a very important role. This is the very first time we do something like this with European lawyers, hopefully the first meeting of a series of events that I hope that next time are not only concentrating on dissemination and divulgation of information, but also on the training and education to promote relationship, exchange of resources, and networks between East and West. And actually, as I said, this is the mission of the International Academy of Rome, to provide this kind of bridge through the experience, the network, and the force of the two capitals of the Roman Empire, which has been shaping for centuries the culture, the global culture, actually. And our education programs target graduate and undergraduate students as far as lawyers also. And people who want to help companies to shift to international markets. I understand from, for instance, from the interesting speech provided by the panelists before me that small and medium companies play a very important role in Turkish economy. And well, even in Italian economy, they are the backbone of our economy. So since this world is driven by digitalization and globalization and also by oligopolistic powers, we have to understand actually the rules to be in the game and also to help these small and medium companies to shift into this big game, because normally, these giants tend to build barriers to new competitors on one side. The other side, they tend to incorporate constantly new ideas, new companies, but well, we must help these companies to protect their rights, their ideas, and be able to sell their ideas and their rights in this liquid age. Once upon a time, research and development was kind of back office operations. Research and operations were research activities, research and innovation activities for companies were normally carried by teams of experts in the back office. Now research and innovation to discover new products are done, for instance, by the users, by the clients, by virtual platforms of users. So how we can transform all these ideas and contributions into, let's say, sources of value. And so this is the realm of intellectual property law studies. And we teach our students that actually to protect the wine, you have to know and to learn how to protect the bottle, because you cannot protect the content of your bottle if you don't know, for instance, how to register your trademark, how to also use the correct wording for registration. So this is kind of sfida, we say in Italian, challenge, new challenge, and lawyers and all the people, all the consultants helping small and medium companies to shift to new markets must be able to actually understand the current trends and smooth this process. Also, from the panelist speeches, I understand that competition law is another important issue, is another important topic. And actually, we are in an era where experts talk about the paradox of competition, because competition in the daily life means that you engage in kind of personal rivalry. But in the economic world, competition is by definition something that you engage against an unknown rival. Okay, so the market should be dominant, should set the rules in the real, in an authentic, democratic competition, competitive setting. And the right of third parties, for instance, so all the studies concerning sustainability and right of third parties, externalities, and so forth, so on, are many other important topics that we should actually focus on and direct the attention of lawyers and government and promote authentic research, because you cannot incorporate the costs of people who don't choose don't choose to be part of market transactions into the company's activities just by increasing or decreasing the price of your products. It doesn't work like this. You have to face the problem from the very origin, from the background, setting, of course, new policies and setting new frameworks to face the challenges of the 21st century economy and help companies and world heading towards the 22nd century. So this is it. Actually, I really want to welcome you again for your participation, for your attention, and I hope to see you very soon in Rome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francesca. So next, we're going to move on to look at investment into the EU. And so investing in Europe, regulations, real estate, cross-border transactions, and new developments in 2015. So on the panel, we have Richard Crowe, who is an Irish lawyer working at the legal services of the European Parliament, and he will be leading the panel. We also have Paolo Zagami, who you've met earlier on, and we also have Kristina Golgic, who is a Croatian lawyer working at the Ombudsman's office in Zagreb, and also fulfills a role in Italy, an of-counsel role at a law firm as well. So please, I'll pass over to Richard. Thanks.
And thank you very much, Ed. The topic of this panel is investments, EU investments. And it's a very timely moment to discuss this subject, because 1 year ago, in May of last year, we had the European Parliament elections. And this was followed up by the appointment of a new European Commission in October. So we had a complete renewal of the EU political scene. And when Jean-Claude Juncker became president of the Commission, he announced his priorities for his 5-year period as president. And number one on those priorities was to establish a new legal framework for investments in Europe. And the strategic reason for this is that, quite simply, the EU member states don't have the money to invest themselves, public money, into investment projects. So there was a realization that out there is a lot of private capital sitting in accounts, but because of the political and economic environment, the private investors are afraid to take the risk. So Juncker's idea was to create a new fund by which public money would be used to take on some of the risk, and this would hopefully stimulate the private investment to use the money that it has and to invest in projects and thereby get the economy going again. So last year, Juncker proposed, the Commission put forward a proposal for a piece of legislation to establish a European Fund for Strategic Investments. And that was put forward last November. Since then, we've had lots of negotiations in the Parliament, in the Council, and I'm glad to announce that just this week, the legislation, a political deal was reached on the legislation. I was there, it happened at 8 a.m. on Thursday. The final round of negotiations had started the previous afternoon, so we worked for, I think, 16 hours without break right throughout the night, and finally the political deal was concluded at 8 a.m. So I think that will be one of the major themes of our panel, and I'm glad to say that Christina will start off by introducing the legislation, by introducing the background, and then I'll follow up with some of the latest developments from during the week, and Paolo will conclude the panel. So, Christina, the floor is yours.
First of all, I want to thank the European lawyers for invitation and all of you to come here. And I'm very delighted that I'm here in Istanbul for the first time. And I will talk about this EU investment plan because since 2007, the level of investment in EU has dropped by around 15%. In some countries, that drop-off is deeper, like is in Italy, 25%, in Portugal, 38, Ireland 39, Spain 36, and finally Greece 64, as a result of financial and debt crisis in all Europe. So, as Richard said, European Commission decided to make that plan for Europe, for investment plan for Europe, and it will be on force in December. In September this year, yes, September, we hope. And the European Commission is setting out an approach based on the 3 pillars in the circle of economic policy priorities. These are structural reforms, financial responsibility, and investment. According to this plan, a member state with bigger fiscal room should invest more, and member states with more limited space should use better EU funds and create an environment that is more conducive to investment by private actors, as Richard said before. So the investment plan consists of 3 strands. First one is mobilizing finance for investment, and the ambition is to mobilize at least 315 billion of euros, and that is planned for 3 years, from 2015 till 2017, and without creating a new public debt. So that will be difficult, but they will try. That means strong boost for strategic investment, better access to investment finance for small and medium enterprises and mid-cap companies, then strategic use of EU budget and better use of EU structural and investment funds. And the other stand is making finance reach the real economy. And that is supporting projects and investment in some key areas such as infrastructure, education, innovation, and research through ongoing EU programs like Horizon 2020 or that is for education and research. Then they have to make better cooperation between national promotional banks and European Investment Bank. That is very important. And the third stand is improved investment environment, that is predictability and quality of regulation, quality of national expenditure, tax systems, then public administration, and removing financial and non-financial barriers for investment, and making one single market in the EU. But that is a work in progress because a lot of regulation which are different in member states. So the single market is Europe's greatest structural reform achievement. The stakeholders in this plan are member states, then national promotional banks, regional authorities, and private actors and investors. So they act really big roles in this plan. And now I will talk about a new fund for strategic investment, and it will enter on force in September, as I said, not in December, so sorry, in September, according to the latest informations. And it will be set up in a partnership of European Commission and European Investment Bank, and they are strategic partners in this plan. The role of the European Fund for Structural Investments is to ensure, enhance the risk-bearing capacity and mobilize extra investment, essentially from private actors and also public sources in specific sectors and areas. The fund will be set up within the European Investment Bank Group as a dedicated trust fund. This will ensure a swift setup, and the fund will benefit from the founding and expertise in lending and risk management from the European Investment Bank existing structures. To establish this fund, a guarantee of 16 billions of euros will be created under the EU budget. To support the fund, the European Investment Bank will commit around 5 billion of euros. And member states directly through their national promotional banks or similar bodies will have the opportunity to contribute in this fund in the form of capital. Private investors can also join to the fund on this level. And this fund will support long-term investment projects, then in infrastructure, particularly in transport infrastructure is very important, in industrial centers. Then, as I said, in education, innovation, and research. Through ongoing EU programs, such as the Connecting Europe facilities for infrastructure and Horizon 2020 for research, education, and innovation. And from this European Investment Fund, this 5 billion of euros are for they will support investment for small and medium enterprises, which are very important in investment in Europe. And the fund will be flexible since different regions have different needs in order to jumpstart investment. Supported projects should generally be open to all users, including competing operators on fair, reasonable, and appropriate conditions, so as to avoid the creation of new entry barriers. To maximize the impact of such investment, the Commission will formulate a set of core principles for a purpose of state aid assessment, which a project will have to meet to be eligible for the support of this fund. If a project meets these criteria and receives support from the fund, any national complementary support will be assessed under simplified and accelerated state aid assessment, whereby the only additional issue to be verified by Commission will be proportionality of public support. They estimate that the fund could reach an overall multiplier effect of 1 to 15, and in real investment in the economy, and that effect is based on historical experience from EU programs and European Investment Bank. Now I asked for the flip chart because I want to show you that on, but I think that you understand. This plan also we have, you can find that plan on site of European Commission. And after you can ask me some questions, of course. The fund will have its own governance structure. It will be managed in accordance with agreed investment guidelines. The concrete project will be validated by an independent investment committee based on their viability and making sure that the public support doesn't exclude or crowd out private investments. The fund will support risk finance small and medium enterprises and mid-cap companies across the EU, relying on the European Investment Fund, and that is a part of European Investment Bank Group for this operational implementation. Also, you have on the website of European Investment Fund a lot of information about access to finance, especially for micro, small and medium enterprises and mid-cap companies. Because according the microfinance consists mainly of micro loans that is less than 25,000 euros. And the micro enterprises are 91 of all European business. They are very important, and small and medium enterprises. So lots of startups are micro or small enterprises. And 1/3 of them starts of unemployed people. So this part is very important. Also, recent reforms of EU's financial regulation framework and the completion of the banking union will help to develop a transport, safe, reasonable, and flexible financial sector, contributing to stability and confidence. But investment remains heavily reliant on bank intermediation, long-term finance, and the free movement of capital across the EU remains in fact work in progress, because all of this regulation in such member states, in fact there are obstacles and barriers to make a single market and free movement of capital. Over time, the creation of capital market union will reduce fragmentation in the EU's financial market. This will also help bring out a more diverse supply of finance to small and medium enterprises and long-term projects by complementing bank financial with deeper, more developed capital markets. So here is one other regulation also is important, which still isn't on force, but will be next month. That is regulation on the European long-term investment fund. And this is important in this long-term investment. It shall apply in December for this. For this regulation is in December. Shall apply, so this because I made mistake. Sorry. A broad consultation of the beginning of 2015 will help to develop further and prioritize the main areas of action to remove obstacles to investment, financing, and progress toward capital market union, as I said before. So this regulation of European long-term investment will help to tackle barriers to long-term investment, for example, in infrastructure projects, thereby stimulating unemployment and economic growth. And it's very important in this plan to make job creation, because a lot of unemployment is in EU. So the goal of this regulation, operational by mid this year, it will be operational next month and shall apply in December, as a useful vehicle for investment in long-term projects. This fund could also play a role in providing a complementary vehicle for delivering public or private-public investment in the rest of the economy. Here is a very important energy and transport sector in the measure of the single market, and the implementation of recent reforms need to be accelerated. And the full implementation of the third energy package must be ensured. Rules for energy cross-border trade still remain highly fragmented. So these are problems with this regulation, cross-border, and that is still work in progress. So structural reforms to resolve barrier to investment in transport, for example, infrastructure and system with the cross-border dimension also needs to be implemented swiftly. Then Europe needs to develop a truly connected digital single market, including through swift and ambitious legislative steps in the areas of data protection, telecoms regulation, and by modernizing and simplifying copyrights and consumers' rule for online digital purchases. The digital single market should deliver trust and security in online transactions, and consumers should be given unhindered access to online content and services across the Europe without discrimination based on nationality or on the place of residence. That is very important too. So services and products and market are very intertwined. Efficient application of public procurement rules should be ensured at all levels, and as well as the promotion of e-procurement tools. Also in this plan are included international plans because they want to offer also the countries outside of European Union to contribute in this investment through companies which are existing in Union and through the banking system and financial of the other countries. So all these investments from countries outside of EU are welcome. If I have time, I will tell something about this benefit cost analysis and EU investment project. Do I have time?
Just 2 minutes. Yeah.
A few minutes. Okay.
2 minutes.
This is also very important because I'm a member of Society for Benefit Cost Analysis, so that is for me always interesting part. And benefit cost analysis, in fact, is very important tool in these financial decisions, in decision making, and that is only for financial decisions, not non-financial. So governments usually use benefit cost analysis in decision making, and also European Commission decided to use benefit cost analysis as a basis for decision making in the co-financing of major projects included in operational programs of the European Regional Development Fund and the Cohesion Fund. So they made strategy for Europe 2020 through a new guide to benefit cost analysis and investment projects that is from 2014 till 2020. The objective of guide reflects a specific requirements for the European Commission to offer practical guidance of major project appraisals, as embodied on the cohesion policy legislation for the noted period. Its main objective is to illustrate common principles and rules for application of the benefit cost analysis approach in the practice of different sector. The best decision in this benefit cost is, of course, when the total costs are less of the total benefits. That is logical. In fact, so the legal basis for major project appraisal in regulation is Regulation 1303 from 2013, of the European Parliament and Council, and that is very important for this strategy. So if you can find it also on the European Commission site, and if you have some question, you can ask me. I will leave you my email, or if you don't have now questions, then later. So thank you on your attention.
Thank you very much, Christina. Just to come back to the flagship project that you were mentioning, which is the European Fund for Strategic Investments. And we use the acronym EFSI. And depending on what country you're from, some people call it EFSI. But in any event, it's EFSI. And this is really the flagship regulation at the moment. And just to explain a bit how the legislative process works, the Commission back in October put forward its proposal. And you know how it works. At that point, the European Council, representing the governments, the 28 member states, adopts its position where it suggests the amendments it wants to the proposal. Then the European Parliament adopts its position, so it suggests the amendments it wants. And at that point, once the two institutions have adopted their positions, we enter negotiations. And these negotiations take place in what are called trilogues, an old French word that somehow has become an English word. And a trilogue is where the negotiators from the Parliament, the Council, and the Commission sit down together and negotiate. And the way they negotiate, and I have it here, is using the 4-column document. And a 4-column document is simply a document where in the first column we have the Commission proposal of the whole text of the regulation. In the second column we have the Council's amendments. And in the third column we have the Parliament's amendments. And the challenge of the trilogues and the negotiators is to fill the fourth column with something that we can all agree to. And it's a very, very laborious process because we go line by line. And we start at the top, we say, can we agree on this? In the first reading, we don't agree on this article, so we leave it blank. And then we come back and go through it all again, and we come back and go through it all again. Now, for the FC regulation, we had 8 long sessions, and it was a total of 57 hours of negotiations. And as I said, the final round started on Wednesday afternoon and finished at 8 a.m. on Thursday morning. So we were all pretty shattered. Now, the politicians were shattered because, of course, at that point, they've got their political deal, so they can go home. That's not the case, I'm afraid, for the officials who are working behind them, because that's when we really have to work on finalising the text. And the reason I have this with me is because just this morning, I was in touch with the legal services of the Council and the Commission, because the politicians at this stage have said, this is what we agree to politically, our lawyers can sort out the precise wording. Now, of course, that's nice, but it's also a challenge because sometimes the politicians agree to something, but it's not entirely clear what they agreed to. And if the final text doesn't say exactly what they wanted it to say, we can end up reopening the whole package, and everything that we have to do at the moment has to be done with great care. Because we don't.
Then you circulate these meetings, you get the feedback, and you do the final document?
Yeah, I mean, this is the document they worked in,
okay.
but there were some things by 8 a.m. on Thursday morning, nobody was thinking straight. So the politicians just said, okay, we agree on this, the lawyers can finish it. And
Very good.
well, that's not always so easy when we're not clear on what they agreed on. So we're even working over the weekend because on Monday the ministers will meet and the ministers will try to endorse the text. And hopefully then again on Wednesday we'll have another meeting at political level just to endorse all the work that has been done by the technical staff. And what happens then is that this will go for translation, so we'll have all the lawyer linguists will review it, and it will be translated into the 28 official languages, and at that point it should be ready for publication in the official journal. And the aim is that it should be published in September, but this depends a bit again on how things go. So regarding the contents, I think everything was explained by Christina very clearly. But just to explain the thinking behind it is that traditionally the European Union budget gave subsidies and grants. So it gives a one-off grant to build a bridge or to build a motorway. The problem is that the EU budget and the member states' public budget simply don't have the money to give away money on once-off projects anymore. So the thinking behind this regulation is to have a sort of paradigm shift, that instead of the EU budget giving away 20 million on a once-off project, we rather use that 20 million to give guarantees. And using those guarantees, the guarantee would be used by the European Investment Bank to issue bonds on the markets and to generate a fund which will exist within the European Investment Bank. Now, what the European Investment Bank will do is look at the infrastructure projects that are proposed, either by private project promoters or by regions or by national project promoters, and will invest only 20% in the infrastructure projects. But what it will do is invest the riskiest 20%. So the EIB will take the first loss using this fund if the project fails. And it's hoped that by the EIB investing 20% and being willing to take the first loss, that therefore private investors will be more willing to invest the other 80%. And this is the theory. This is why we're giving 16 billion in a guarantee from the EU budget, supported by 5 billion from the European Investment Bank. So there will be a 21 billion guarantee. And using that 21 billion guarantee, the EIB will raise money on the markets, will raise 60 billion, and it will invest that 60 billion as 20% in infrastructure projects. And if the private sector provides the other 80%, we will arrive at this magic figure of 300 or 315 billion extra investment in the EU economy. So that's the theory. We'll see if it will work. And just to add a couple of more points, this regulation will also do two interesting things. It will set up an investment advisory hub, which will be created between the Commission and the European Investment Bank. And that hub will exist and will be available to provide advice free of charge to project promoters. So and particularly this is intended to help project promoters in countries which don't have very well developed financial markets and which don't have a great deal of expertise in how to launch very complex investment projects. So there'll be a centralized hub that's available to provide advice. And also there will be a new investment portal, a European investment portal, which is essentially a website or an information base, where on the one hand, project promoters will be able to make public information on the projects that they are launching. And on the other hand, investors who have money to spend will be able to consult this portal and look at what projects are there in which they might wish to invest. And it's hoped that in this way, the money and the project promoters will be brought together, and this should stimulate the economy. And as Christina mentioned, also later in the year, we'll have new legislation proposed for a capital markets union to remove the barriers to the flow of investment capital within the EU. And there, part of the thinking, again, it's the sort of cultural change, is to look at what happens in the United States. Because in the United States, you have a single capital market where money can flow very easily from East Coast to West Coast. Investors from different states have no problem investing in projects in other states. In Europe, the lending for infrastructure projects tends to come through banks. And the idea is to look more to try and generate the American model in the European context and remove all the barriers to the free flow of capital investments, so that an investor from Germany, for example, would have no problem investing in an infrastructure project in Romania or Bulgaria. And in this way, both sides gain. Some countries gain new infrastructure. The German investors can use all the money that they have sitting in bank accounts, which they don't want to use at the moment because they're afraid of the risk. And finally, as Christina mentioned, this will also be open to third countries. If there is a joint infrastructure project or an investment project, let's say between Turkey and an investor in another EU member state, it would be possible to benefit from this EU guarantee. So the legislation, as I said, it's just been adopted. There's a lot of economic theory behind, but of course we'll see in practice whether it will actually work. But at least they're trying something to get the economy moving again in Europe. So at that point, I think if you have any questions on the investment plan, we can take them now. Otherwise, we'll move on to Paolo, who I think is going to talk more to introduce a more Turkish dimension to the proceedings.
No, it seems no questions.
Okay, Paolo.
Okay. Just give me 1 second because I don't know. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. So you already know me as Vice President of the Association. there is a little change because the general idea was that my contribution we thought to be the last one. In this regard, I was thinking to close this day talking about Turkey and about why our clients, Richard, why the banks should be investing in Turkey. And I know that there are many Turkish students, so that's something that should be also very interesting for you, because in a few years probably you will be much more better than we lawyers, than I, Richard, Tudor, Givenchy. So please pay attention of what I will be telling you now, because you really live in a great country, and I will tell you now why. Okay? Okay, I have named my contribution Turkey, a leading country open for investments. I mean, just for the title of this topic, you can understand that we are going to talk about something that it's very near to your how can I tell you, to your interest, hopefully. So, I want to tell you that the economic world can be divided in many groups, because we are all law professionals. I don't know if there is someone who doesn't work in law sector. There is someone? Maybe no? We are all law professionals, okay. But even if you are law professional, only law professionals, we need to take care of what the economists usually say, especially if you want to be or if you are a business lawyer. In this regard, the economists use several, I would say in English, acronyms. And between them, the most relevant are BRICS, which means Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. By the way, 3 of these countries have organized or will be organizing the Soccer World Cup. I don't know if you like soccer, but I'm a crazy fan of soccer.
You're Italian, though?
I'm Italian, so I don't know if... Is there someone for Galatasaray, Besiktas, Galatasaray? Besiktas? Only one. Fenerbahce? Okay, so Galatasaray, so like the president. But because of the president, they are all for Galatasaray. No, I'm not from Roma. I live in Roma, but I do not support for Roma. I will tell you later my team which is. Then after BRICS, we have the PIGS. Okay, PIGS, we are speaking in English, so PIGS are a particular meaning in English, okay? But I'm not telling you about that meaning. But some nice, very smart economists have identified me, like Italian, Portugal, Spain, and also Greece. There are some Greek friends.
Oh my God.
We are the 4 pigs. We are the 4 pigs, concerning what they say. But probably they are right, because our economies at this time of the history are very down. And then the third group is named, I don't know if you heard about this group, it's named MIST. We say MIST in Italian. This group is composed by Mexico, Indonesia, South Korea, and Turkey. So, just to be more clear, BRICS is a definition introduced by Jim O'Neill. This is a famous economist on 2001. And we usually say BRIC countries in the meaning that we want to say something like the Big Five. Because until 12 years ago, 13 years ago, these 5 countries were probably the leading countries in all the world, concerning all the sectors, concerning law, concerning investments. What's that?
It's for you.
It's for me?
Yeah.
Wow. Fireworks for me.
Fireworks for you.
Because I'm talking very well about Turkey. They knew that. Okay. But after the BRICS, so we had the PIGS. I already told you which the PIGS are. Okay, so let's go ahead with this, because I suffer. I and the Greek friends, we suffer about this definition. And then we have indeed the MIST. The MIST, well, MIST is a term created on 2011, so just 4 years ago, and it refers to the new giants of the economy. And you Turkish people, I don't know if you are aware about that, but you are a giant I don't know if, but I think there should be like 20 Turkish more, maybe 30. I don't know if you are aware about that. But, well, the idea with Richard was to show you how we Italians and we European consider you. Because probably when you live in one country, you just see the negative details. Or maybe you don't discover the good things. For example, I live in Roma, just beside the Vatican. You know Francesca, and I've never been in the Vatican. Yeah, that's true. Because probably you've never been in the Pantheon. What's the name? And in Athens. Exactly.
Pireo.
El Pireo. Because that's normal. Because we are used. Because that's our. I mean, that's the mentality of the people. We are used to not appreciate what we have. That's what we usually say. And you Turkish people, probably you don't know that. I'm telling you that our view in your respect is very good. It's so much good that indeed, according to the International Monetary Fund, what we call Fondo Monetario Internazionale, by the way, Leonardo Graffi is arrived, welcome. He will be speaking later. Leonardo is one of the oldest members of the association. And I still remember the last year was your birthday, and you came just for talking with us, so thank you. The International Monetary Fund gave evidence to the great steps taken by your country, by Turkey, the country that most quickly reacted to the Great Recession under the OXE area. We call it OXE area. And in this regard, according to the International Fund Monetary, Turkey comes immediately after the Big Five, and is the China of Europe. And I think you know what I mean. China is will be the leading country in all the world in around 10 years, I promise you. And we will forget about USA. Well, I am a very good friend of USA. I'm used to work with the embassy, with the USA embassy and something like this. But I can tell you that's a little secret, but I can tell you that USA people, USA diplomatics, they know that very shortly China will go over than USA for many reasons. Indeed, I would say, what's the name of the money of the coin? USA dollars?
Currency.
Sorry?
Currency in China?
What's the name of the value in China?
Yen. Yen. Should be yen. Yen.
Yeah. In 10 years, yuan will be more strong. Will be much more strong than the USA, and I'm sure that our I cannot say our son, our daughters, but I would say in English, nipoti, our nephews, they will be living in a world where they will be speaking. Everyone will be speaking Chinese, and everyone will be paying with the Chinese money. I promise you, 100%. It's just time. We just need to wait.
Oh my God.
No, you don't think so? There is one American guy here, so I'm sorry, but I told you that I am an American friend, so, but that's the reality. And if I tell you that Turkey is already the China of Europe, I want to say that probably in a few years, your country, Turkey, will be the leading country of all Europe. Or maybe it is already, I don't know. Much more than Chinese people eventually.
I would love to go back to Lira.
To Lira?
Yeah.
Well, and this means also that eventually Turkish soccer clubs will win also the Champions League, but that's more difficult. They will win a Champions League. Sorry for this.
Yeah, so we are so nostalgic.
So Turkey is living a phase that many experts identify like a transformation process. Because, of course, many of the speakers before than me, they told that Turkey is a very strong regional position, because it's in a position like a bridge between, of course, Asia and Europe, and is playing an important role in all the surrounding area. Is an active member of the G20, and some of you told before that will be something in Antalya. I don't know what is maybe Aisha, no. Well, there will be an important meeting in Antalya in November. You told me probably, yeah, on 15th of November. And this, in this regard, it confirms that all the big politics of Europe look in Turkey like one of the emerging country. It's a member of the NATO. Is a member of the Council of Europe. Is a member of the Organization Islamic. And there are several points that underline the growth of your country, of Turkey. For example, we are talking about an economy which has received 144 USA billion dollars in foreign direct investment over the past 10 years. Just to let you know the difference between your country and my country, my Francesca country, there is also one Italian here, Elisa. Well, our country, there is also Leonardo, sorry. Yes. Our country, in the last 10 years, received direct investment for $21 billion, while Turkey received investment for 144. So you can make you can realize the difference. And the gross domestic product reached 800 USA billion dollars, while you Turkish 10 years ago had a gross domestic product of 305 billion. So you understand how much you are growing step by step, shortly, but you have become really a giant. Even, but we must tell this, even if your political situation is not so clear. In this regard, I want to tell you that's something like now that I want to make. I want to sponsor our country now, because so far I've been talking very bad about my country. But now I want to tell you that we Italians, from the beginning, have supported your entrance. You know that, right? We discussed about this many times. We support, I mean, not me, okay, I cannot do so much for you, but there are all our politicians that many times they are not able to write law, but they are able to discuss and...
But they are very ready to...
Yeah, but I think politicians, they need to make network. They do not need to write law, to write... That's what we should do. In any case, we Italians, the Italian politicians, are supporting your entrance on the European Union, but not only for ideological reasons and all for geopolitical reasons, but especially because there is a very strong economical connection between our country and your country, and also between Greece and Turkey and Spain. And we do not have any Spanish person today. No Spanish. Strange. And also between, all the area in the south of Europe, right? That's because in our case, the exchange between Roma and Ankara is the capital. Do you know this? You were thinking that Istanbul was the capital.
Yes, of course.
No, Ankara is the capital.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Ankara is the capital.
Good to know.
Yeah. The economic exchange between Ankara and Roma reached 2,000 billion USA dollars, which is unbelievable. And until 2 years ago, we had, unbelievable to say, but we had 1,040 Italian companies investing in Turkey. Just to let you know, for example, yesterday night I was walking around Istiklal Caddesi, what's the name? Givenchy, Istiklal, the main Istiklal, and I've seen Giolitti ice cream. It's very famous. It's an ice cream shop. Giolitti is one of the company which has invested in Turkey and which will be investing again, because they told me yesterday I was eating something, an ice cream, and they told me, yes, we are going to open a new store in Turkey. That's because they also believe in your country.
So far, 1,000 Italian companies.
Yeah, which is a lot.
The Turkish one.
A lot.
So far.
Armani? Yeah, Armani, Versace, all the brands. And I know our president takes care a lot of fashion. So in this regard, sectors were to invest in Turkey. I mean, once we have a client, because we European lawyers, all our network has only very important clients, right? You can confirm, because we are business lawyers. So once we have an important client that wants to invest in Turkey, I would suggest you to say this client to invest, for example, in energy, in buildings, in cars, since from services to the green economy, the possibilities offered by the Turkish market are very, very relevant. And also tourism is developing very fast, and there is the goal of the government to increase the tourism by 10 years. Additionally, some Turkish friends told me that there is the intention to empower the industry in general and to make also stronger the retailing. In this regard, how many do I have? Just 1 hour more? No.
A couple more. You're the vice president. You can take as much.
Also, you cannot interrupt me. In this regard, of course, we know that there is a crisis nearby. Not only an economical crisis, but also a political crisis. Because Syria, for example, Iraq, and the economical crisis in Russia will seem to create some disadvantages also to Turkey. But honestly, it seems that you do not have, you are not suffering for this crisis, economical crisis and political crisis, that you are living just beside you, because I think Syria is bordering, right? Also Iraq. So it's something that in our mind should be, well, someone told me a few weeks ago, please don't go in Istanbul because it's a country not safe. We are talking about something that they are very behind concerning the economical side, but they are stupid, they are idiots, because I'm telling you that Turkey is something much more better than Italy or Greek or Spain or whatever, because the history is changing the position. And how, at this time I'm telling you that USA is over than China. In 10 years they will be the opposite. At the same time you are already upper than us. Turkey and then Spain, then Italy, okay? In this regard, the investments in Turkey, in the last 2 years, we are talking about some, 71% of people that think that investing in Turkey is something very attractive. And in this regard, European countries investing in Turkey are, of course, the first place. The country that at this time of the history, I will say, I don't know if there are some German people. No? You are German? No. So I can talk very badly about Germany. No, at this time of the history, German, the German is leading Europe. Because, okay, we are, that's
Ruling,
a little
ruling,
thing.
maybe.
Sorry?
Ruling, maybe.
No, I always say that we Italians, people from Greece, staying in the European Union for us, Germany, from one side, they protect us, because probably we cannot go in default, because it will be not convenient for Germany if Greece go in default, if we go in default. Domino effect, absolutely, domino effect. So, they cannot let us leave the European Union, because otherwise Angela Merkel will be down like me, like you. But on the other side, Germany is doing like economical politic against we Italians, EU, Greek, and all the members of the European Union. So I would suggest you think about entering in the European Union, because probably will be not a good choice for you entering in the European Union. Just to let you know, that's my opinion. Anyway, Germany in this regard is the leading European investments in Turkey with 64 projects. And then we have France, UK, and Italy with 30, 26, and 24. So we are at the 4th place. Cities where to invest, not only Istanbul, because Istanbul, of course, is the most important city that you have. Is the city that, is the most important city that you have, just because we have like 5, 6 soccer teams, I think, maybe 6 in first division. No, not for joking, but Istanbul is the best one for many reasons, especially for the population. But then you have also very important city like Izmir, right? Izmir, yeah. Ankara and Bursa, which also show a sign of investment growth. And so now, going forward the conclusion, I want to tell you the 10 reasons to invest in Turkey. I want to explain you. I want to suggest to you why you should say your clients. The 10 reasons you should say your clients to invite him to put his money in Turkey. A client that can be investment banking, can be a private that wants to buy a real estate property in Istanbul, or can be a company that wants to open a ice cream shop in Turkey. First reason, I already told you, successful economy. As I told, the gross domestic product reached $800 billion in 2014. And also, as told, there is a very promising economy with a bright future. In this regard, you expect to become one of the fastest growing economies during the years that you are living at this stage of the history. Second reason to invest in Turkey, Population. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you are 70 or around 75 people. We Italians are 45, I think, 50? Yeah.
Yes.
You are
Some
11. Yeah. Spanish are like 20. In all North Europe, like Lithuania, Lithuania, Estonia, they are like 2 million each country. Germany is a little bit bigger, but you have 75 millions of people. And also, you have very young people, because the average of your age is 36.7. While we Italians, you Greek and the Spanish, usually we are 36, 37 years old in the average. Of course, I am much more younger than this average. So you have a young, dynamic, well-educated, because you are very well-educated, and multicultural population. 10 reasons that I will tell to my client, to invite my client in investing in Turkey. You should pay me later, because that's also advertisement for Bio University. Okay, we are not agreeing. Just you didn't know about. Yeah.
you are setting now the agreement.
you want the slides? Okay.
Okay.
I will give you the slides. That reason to invest: qualified and competitive labor force, because we are talking about approximately 610,000 students graduate annually from over 183 universities. Of course, Bio University is the best one. I don't need to say this. And you have also more than 700,000 high school graduate, with around half from vocational and technical high schools. So we are not talking only about lawyers. Because I don't know if you know this history, but in Italy there is a joke. I think also in Spain, I don't know if in your country, but in Italy we say once you go out from the high school, you say, okay, if I don't know what I want to do in my life, so I will study law. Then that's what we say. Okay, that's what we say. You are more different in this regard. You probably decide to study all sorts of things. We study only law because we do not have other we do not have, you know, we do not wish to explore. Sorry? Yeah, lawyers or doctors. While you Turkish people, you are more different. I mean, you study more different sectors. 4 reasons. Liberal and reformist investment climate. Indeed, we are talking about a very business-friendly environment. That's very important because then I think that we lawyers, we are not theoretical people. We need to fight against the bureaucracy and against the clients and against everything. And especially in my case, I'm used to work in company laws, corporate law, and I'm used to set up companies. Well, I get very disappointed when I need to have like 3 weeks in Italy to set up a company, because in Italy it takes 3 weeks, okay, really, to set up a company. In London it takes 2 days. But probably we are the two opposite sides, because London is too much, probably, London is, maybe James can confirm, London is too much liberal, we are too much behind. While in any case, you Turkey people, well, it takes, in your country, it takes only 6 days, which is very good result. And also you have equal treatment for all investors. While we countries from the south, we make many differences between people living in our countries and people coming from abroad. It seems that you treat all people coming from anywhere at the same level. And we are talking about, now in this regard, around 42,000 companies, not only Italian, but 42,000 companies coming from abroad, investing in your country in 2014. Well, this means that the numbers say that the companies go out from our countries, from the traditional countries, once again, Italy, England, Italy, Turkey, Italy, Spain, Greece, Portugal, while companies are coming to your countries. They escape from our countries to come to your country. 5 reasons, infrastructure. Indeed, we are talking about a new and highly developed technological infrastructure in transportation, telecommunication, and energy. Indeed, you have well-developed and low-cost sea transport facilities. Let's take, for example, let's think about Pegasus. Pegasus Airlines, which is one of the best flight company that I never taken in my life. 6 reasons to invest. You are centrally located. We already told you that you are a bridge between China and Asia. And this is very important because you are the door to have access to many other countries. Seventh reason, you are the energy corridor and terminal of Europe. Indeed, Turkey is an important energy terminal and corridor connecting the east and the west. Maybe you don't know that, but that's true also. Then, eighth reason, the most important in my opinion, low taxes and benefits. Your corporate income tax is very, very low if you make a comparison with our income tax. And you have many, many tax benefits. Of course, we do not have now time to explain which kind of tax benefits you have, but trust me, you have many tax benefits. And then also, I think someone before me already told that there is, in any case, even if you are not an EU member, in any case, there is a custom union with European Union from more than 20 years. And there is also a free trade agreement with 20 countries. And the last reason, we are talking about a large domestic market because you use internet, you have many mobile phones, you have many credit cards, and you had many, many international people visiting your country. And you have a very, very good also real estate market because there are many people that are buying properties in your country. And also the price properties are very convenient because usually if you want to buy a little shop, a little house in Roma, you need to pay at least 10,000 euro each square meter. While in Istanbul, people told me that if you want to buy a house in Istanbul, you need, with 2,000 euro, you can get something good in Besiktas and Taksim area, more or less. No, I'm wrong. No, but you are rich people, so you are only. No, for buy. No, I cannot consider your because you are rich, so yes. Yeah, you think so, more or less. Anyway, for sure, it's more convenient. Probably. And at the end, that's something also very important. That's my last slide. The administrative requirements. I already told you a little bit before. Bureaucracy is, how can I tell you, is putting the traditional countries under a very, very big sufferance because we suffer the bureaucracy. While you, Turkey, it seems that you get benefits from the bureaucracy because things works very well in your country. I'm not sure. Well, I think so. People told me, but in any case, you are the president. So okay, thank you. So last thing. Tesecular. Turkey, teşekkürler, Givenç.
Okay, I think you have an election next month, so if you want an Italian Prime Minister, Paolo has given his manifesto. I think we may have to shorten the coffee break, but I'll leave Ed to take that decision.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was very, very fascinating listening to all of you. Really enjoyed that session, so thanks. So it's time for a break for coffee. And how long do you think we'll have, Gavinch? So we'll have half an hour for networking and coffee, and see you back after that. Thanks again.
Thank you.